Boys and motherfucking girls, welcome to another episode of the Let's Keep It a Buck podcast, episode 17. We got another guest this week. Shout out to Sporting Logically, aka Tucker. Say what's up to the people, man.
Yeah, what's up? Thanks for having me, man. Appreciate it.
No problem, no problem. We got the usual members, Jesus fuck, and the usual cast with us. We got Wordy, we got Dom, we got Justin. Say what's up to the people.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Flipper Nation, baby. Play IP.
Yeah, we got one main topic really to talk about today. Actually, we have a couple because the NBA all NBA teams came out. The MVP was finally announced. We got a couple tomfoolery topics at the end, but before we get going, how's everyone been this week, bro? I like to check in with my people. You know what I'm saying?
It's been great. Been a great week. This has been a phenomenal week.
Phenomenal.
Like this has been
exquisite.
This is one of the best weeks, man. Especially if you're
Talk about it, Dom. Talk about it.
This has been one of the
Why
best
so?
weeks.
Why so? Why so?
Why?
Look, man, look. All season, all I've been hearing is, oh, how is AD and LeBron gonna get through Kawhi and PG? Now, I don't even got to worry about that because Kawhi and PG couldn't make it through Jokic and Jamal Murray.
Jamal
Listen,
Curry.
Jokic,
Jamal Curry.
Jokic,
I always
amazing
believed
player.
in him, man.
I never
Always
believed in
believed in
Jamal Murray, and I still don't. I still
Always
don't
have.
believe in Jamal Murray. Still don't believe in Jamal Murray. So I'm not even sweating this. Big
That's
17, bitch. What you mean? Big 17s around here.
Y'all
Join
can
the
finally
17
catch up.
club.
Y'all can finally catch up to the
Finally,
Celtics.
right? Finally. You got to join the club.
All right.
About time.
Yeah, but we'll get into that in a little bit. But like I said, we have a guest this week, Sporting Logically in the building. First of all, congratulations to the new house. Congratulations
Thank you.
to getting
Yes,
engaged as well.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Clap it up. Spam it up
Clap
in the
it up,
comment section.
Shia. Clap it up, Shia LaBeouf. Clap
Let's
it
go,
up.
Shia
Let's
LaBeouf.
go.
Bro, this whole
Did you
week,
see the video of that?
this man Wordu has been on a... He's just been clowning Justin for looking like Shia LaBeouf, bro.
Did you see the video of him on Twitter reading that fucking book or whatever? Y'all didn't
I
see
couldn't
What
that?
was that? What was that?
He was
As
high
soon
as
as
a
I saw-
kite. Y'all didn't see that?
I seen
No.
I seen him high as a bitch, and I was like, "There's no way he's getting through this shit reasonably." And I just turned it off. I was just dying.
It was
laughing.
like Brad Pitt, like super fancy dress. Morgan Freeman. Who else was in there? The dude from the Lincoln
Jennifer
commercials.
Aniston.
They're all super professional. Man is blazed in his car.
Hotboxing, like literally smoking as they're
Yeah.
reading lines. He's just sitting there hot, just
He's like,
with no shirt, hair messy as a bitch. Just, bro, I'm like, yo, and he looks just like Justin. Like ever since Wordy said that, I can't unsee it.
Yeah, I
Can't
can't
unsee it.
unsee it either.
Shia LaBeouf.
Shia LaBeouf had ass. But,
Playoff P.
this man just said playoff P for no reason.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
All right. But, how's YouTube been lately, man?
It's good. I don't know what has been going on. Like when the league first came back, viewership was like kind of there, but I feel like for everybody, like the last couple of weeks, for whatever reason, stuff has been going up. But just getting everything set up in the new house and everything. But it's not going to be a whole lot different for me. I'm just going to do what I normally do and just talk about stuff every day. And it's it's been going well. That's
good, man. That's good. Hey, yo, I've noticed that too. The views in the NBA community have been going fucking crazy.
Right.
Like, so shout out Young Mustard. We had him on the podcast a couple weeks ago. He just hit 50K recently, and he's had like a viewer spike. I've had a viewer spike as well. Swish Out, like literally every time he uploads, is getting like 200K, 100K each video. Flight Mike, he had 2 videos this week, almost hit 1 million.
Didn't Rusty
Like, that's
Buckets just hit, what was it?
Yeah.
200?
Oh, shout out Rusty Buckets as well. He hit 100K this week. You know what I'm
100.
saying? Good friend of the pod. But yeah, everyone's just been spiking.
But the thing
And-
is too, like, it's super interesting because you started to do something like a little bit different, like within the last few weeks, right? Like doing the face cam stuff, like it's been a little bit different. But like
Yeah.
Funky, for example, like is doing nothing different, and his shit is crazy right now.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
crazy right now. And I don't
Shout out to
know
him.
what that. I was literally looking. I was like, there like a hashtag? Is there a tag? Is there like, what am I missing here? I'm trying to figure it out because it just like he always did like pretty well, but it's been different. I don't know if it's just because he does a lot of actual game stuff, right? I do a lot of like off-season stuff, so just people paying more attention to games probably is what it is. But
right, yeah. But shout out to the whole community. You know what I'm saying? We're thriving right now. We're thriving.
NBA community on the cover. I love it. I love it.
Everybody eats. Everybody's eating. And special thank you to the Clippers. You know what I'm saying? the Clippers fed a lot of people's mouths. Mouths.
Try to tell y'all, man.
Bro, I told y'all, bro, when the Clippers lost, that was my version of sports gambling. Because I literally recorded that video that morning. And I was like, yo, this is definitely a high risk, high reward play. It's either I'm going to waste 6 hours of my life or I'm going to make like $900 off this video, which I did.
$900.
You know what I'm
saying? That
so
was the odds, imagine.
That's my version of FanDuel.
Yeah.
So
I did the same thing with the Bucks, man. Like they were going into, I guess they were going into Game 5 the night before. I already had it made. It was ready to go. It was in private. It was ready to go up. Literally like an hour after the game ended, it was up there.
Yeah, and I uploaded that shit with 30 seconds left on the shot clock. So people just people just seeing that, they're like, hey, yo, this man didn't even wait for them to lose. And that was like 100 free comments right there just for the upload time. So, you know what I'm saying? Everyone's thriving. But we were talking before I started recording about how you went to college for sports management, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So my question is there anything specifically from your sports management degree that like translated to your YouTube channel? Like whether it be the focus of your videos or anything really?
There was some marketing stuff, like that I enjoyed more than a lot of my other classes. Like I actually enjoyed going to marketing class, and some of that stuff, like, you know, making sure that you're understanding who you're talking to, who your audience is, and kind of focusing towards getting those people engaged and interested. And so that can kind of drive the viewership, and then other people can come in. But for YouTube specifically, it's something you learn and you grow every single day, right? Like you learn one little tidbit every single day because it's changing all the time. Like there's no book, there's no anything that anybody can tell you, do this step, and this step. It's just something that you kind of figure out who your people are and then how you can bring in other people. But for college specifically, no, the piece of paper is downstairs. I'm glad I have it. If YouTube shuts down tomorrow, I can get an okay job and be okay. But no, not anything specific for that degree, but I'm glad I have it.
That's good. So for sports management, is that geared towards like a career where you want to be like a GM in that NBA or something? Or
initially when I went to school, I was going to be a high school teacher and a basketball coach. I was going to be a high school history teacher.
Right.
And I realized about halfway through, I was like, you know what? I'm probably going to focus way too much on basketball. I'm going to be that coach that runs like ISS or whatever and doesn't do anything with coach basketball and chill. And I was like, I should probably just do something more basketball focused. Like I would have been a good teacher, but I just would have focused way too much on basketball. So when I switched to sport management, the idea was to be a coach, potentially do a front office thing. But with those types of things, you got to like really, really start at the bottom, like internship to ticket manager to whatever. And so I had started looking into that. I did an internship at a post-grad program in Atlanta in college, and then I worked there afterwards as well. But then when I was living down, that was when the YouTube thing kind of took off. And then that's when I decided that was going to be a full-time thing. But yeah, you can really working in sports, the degree is pretty irrelevant. I just wanted to have something that was a little bit more focused towards it, but you could have an English degree and coach basketball if you know the right people and get in the right places.
Yeah, because I always thought about that. Like, how is there? What's the path?
So for a lot of people, it's like if you want to get involved in, like working at a YMCA at like a director level, or like working at a gym at like not necessarily a management level, but higher up than that type deal, where you're like running a facility more than anything else. If you don't want to specifically go into coaching and general managing, which again, you can do with anything.
Yeah.
So I knew that was an easy degree too, to have the piece of paper, to be completely honest. Like I knew that I could get that piece of paper and then I can go from there.
Yeah. Cause I didn't know if like most coaches literally started off like, coaching like fourth graders.
Right.
And then literally work your way up the pole, or is there like a short, like, so, I don't know.
In my experience, which is limited, but knowing people that have gone on to do different things, graduate assistants and otherwise, it's 90% people that you know and networking and going to coach at different, whether it be summer camps. Like I've coached at a University of Alabama where they have like a camp for kids. Like they'll get a whole bunch of people to come in. You meet a ton of people that way, and it's easier, in my opinion, to start at the college level because you can get a graduate assistant position. You can go to school, be a graduate assistant, then be an assistant coach and go from there. At the professional level, it's probably going to be some type of internship where you're in the organization in general. Like if you go back to the Eric Spoelstra thing where he's like the video coordinator 25 years ago and then gets up from there, it's all about moving up and finding people, moving from spot to spot and networking with different people.
Yeah, because like guys like Steve Nash, which I want to get into, like they had no sports management experience or anything.
Yeah.
Like they literally just got a job because they've been in the NBA for so long, and people trust them with their basketball knowledge and shit. But I know you're a Brooklyn Nets fan.
I am.
Correct.
Yeah.
So this man Dom is shaking his head. But how are you feeling? How are you feeling about the Nets going into next year?
So,
are you worried about KD's injury or?
I'm always going to be a little bit pessimistic because every time, I'm sure y'all can all relate, every time you start to get optimistic about your team, you get brought back down to earth. So especially with the Nets that have no history of being good, and there's like 18 different things that can go wrong in the next 2 days that could ruin the whole thing. I'm still like, I don't know how KD's going to come back. I don't know if Kyrie is going to go to China on a sabbatical and not show up for the whole year. Like, I don't know anything. Right. So I think from a talent perspective, they're really good, right? It just depends on if guys are healthy. And the only move that realistically I could see them making is a team that really likes Karis LeVert. They move him for a guy on the wing that can defend and can shoot because they've got plenty of people that can create on the perimeter. They got KD, they got Kyrie, assuming those guys are healthy. You throw Spencer Dinwiddie in there as well. So that would be the only move, would be to kind of bring in a wing. But apart from that, I think they have the talent, and as long as they're healthy and the Steve Nash thing works, I think they can at least, like, top 4 in the East, I think is a realistic expectation. Beyond that, I think it's difficult to tell, but I think that would be where I would start. I'm not going to come out and be like, yeah, they're going to run the East, they're going to win 60 games, because then everybody will break their leg and they'll win 20 games and we'll be in the lottery. So
very true. Wait, so would you? I was about to say, so you being a Nets fan, I would assume, because I used to stay in New York. I went to like the Nets games back before, literally the year before they made the playoffs. I decided to go to a Nets game. Still had fun, but I always thought with Karis LeVert being like one of the only, him and Jared Allen being one of the only like young players drafted homegrown Net style after the whole robbery from the Celtics. Would you I would assume a lot of Net fans would rather have Karis LeVert stay and Dinwiddie move, but would you rather move?
I would actually
LeVert than Dinwiddie.
So I really like Karis LeVert as a player. I think it just comes down to the value there. Like, I think if you're talking to another team, I think they'd rather have Karis than they would Spencer Dinwiddie. And I think that's what it comes down to. So, like, it's really difficult to get the kind of player that I feel like the Nets are going to need, which is kind of a combo 3-4, can defend and can shoot, because really Taurean Prince is like the only option there outside of KD, which makes me nervous. You know what I mean? So it's like you want that type of player, and you got to bring value to the table for that. Not that Spencer Dinwiddie isn't a good player and one of the most interesting follows on Twitter in the NBA, but I think that's all it is. It's just someone that is a little bit easier to trade for good value. Yeah. But I know it's weird that I'm a Nets fan because I'm from North Carolina. It's a super long story, but it's not because they've been good at any point. And I was like, oh, I like the Nets. It's just a long story.
Yeah.
No, I feel that.
I got them making the finals next year, so.
So that means y'all getting out the first round. That's tough. You already put that juju on them before they even play next year.
That's tough.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna pin that. We're gonna pin that somewhere.
Someone was asking me.
Brooklyn Nets making the finals.
Someone was asking me yesterday.
This year. Yeah.
When I was streaming yesterday, they're like, "What do you think? What's the finals prediction for next year?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I can't even think about that because like I don't know what's gonna happen with the Clippers. And like the Heat thing is really nice right now, but I don't feel super confident. I mean, like, yeah, they're going to be the 1 seed next year. You know what I mean? It's so new how dominant they've been in the postseason that I can't be like, yeah, it's going to be Lakers Heat next year. You know what I mean? So I have no idea what's happening with the East next year.
Yeah, but even with the Heat, like, literally no one saw them coming, like, to be as dominant as they've been. So to just predict whole last seasons this early.
He did go out on a limb, 100%. When I
got that Heat jersey on.
I respect
you guys can go ahead. My fucking AirPods just died. Keep going.
Yeah, it's like before last night, the only game they lost in the postseason was the weird Giannis goes out at halftime. The Bucks know they have to do everything they have to do to win. Other than that, they haven't lost a game up to last night, which is ridiculous for a team that was on like a 48, 49 win pace before the suspension. Like it's not like they're winning. Yeah, it's not like they're winning 55, 60 games. And obviously they made some roster moves right before the suspension. So we didn't really like this team that we're seeing right now. Didn't really see them a ton because they brought in Jay Crowder, Iggy, who's not really doing that much for him. But like Myers Leonard doesn't play anymore. Tyler Hero is basically taking Kendrick Nunn's spot in the rotation. Like there's actually a lot of things different that we just didn't get to see a lot pre-suspension. And that's probably why they're coming out of nowhere so much. And they're just playing well. They're shooting the ball extremely well.
And their defenses, and they're like all buying in on defense. That's the crazy thing. That's a thing in the NBA where like when you have players like a Duncan Robinson or a Tyler Hero, they're not known for any defense. They're just like, even Tyler being a rookie still, they're known for being shooters and being like shot creators. They're not known for defenders. When you get those guys to buy into team defense, amazing. The product is like I was watching them last night, even though they lost. They had a couple plays where it's like Kelly Olynyk is sliding his damn feet. Baseline to base, like sideline to sideline. I'm like, bro, 3-line to 3-line. I'm like, yo, Kelly Olynyk is buying in on defense.
Right.
What am I watching? Is this a fake video? Kelly
Is this a fake video? Shout out Chris Move. Shout out Chris Move.
Respect the OGs, man.
Hey man, I had to put it out there, man.
Is this a fake video, head ass?
But the crazy thing about them too is like, because you see Duncan Robinson, right? And you know the prototype. You're like, all right, it's a white dude, he's gonna shoot, he doesn't take twos. But he's like 6'7". Like it's different. It's not like he's 6'4", JJ Redick with dinosaur arms. Like he's a big dude.
People don't mention that too.
And it's kind of crazy that, like, obviously it's easy to say now, but it's kind of crazy that he had to like run on a G League team for the longest time to be 6'7" and can really shoot. But I don't really have an explanation for that other than he just wasn't nearly as good as he is now. Really worked on his shot. Like he didn't play last year at all. He's on the roster. He didn't play. He played like 2 minutes a game.
Yeah, he came from a Division III school, right?
Damn.
Oh, shout out.
Which
I want to know the story because he went to Division III for like 1 or 2 years, and then he was at Michigan. Like I need to know how that happened. Like that doesn't
The
happen.
credits transferred over, man. He had the credits right. That's all it was. He was always been a hooper.
Like was he a walk on? Like I'm so confused.
Credits.
The credits transferred over. Fucking
Man,
Gen
had to get
Eds.
the grades right, bro.
Shout out to them Gen Eds, bro. Hey, me and Tucker were talking about that earlier. Like, I had to take fucking extreme weather freshman year. Like, what are we doing out here in college, bro?
You just got to add up the numbers. That's all.
Yeah.
You got to get to their quota.
Yeah, freshman year, I had to take extreme weather my freshman semester. So I was literally learning about hurricanes and tornadoes.
Not just weather, like extreme. That's such like
Extreme
that's so
weather.
specific. Like it's not like you can't just talk about rain. You got to talk about like downpours and flash floods. You can't talk about.
Yeah,
like,
I'm like, what are we doing out here?
Talk about hail.
Right.
2
like,
years
that's such
later,
a-
let me tell you, I have not used any information from that class in any of my other
you
classes.
can't look outside and be like, oh, there's gonna be a hurricane in like a week. Damn, I need to bring my shit in.
That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. So have you been streaming recently on Twitch with Jimmer?
Yeah, a little bit. So now that I've got because I've always wanted to, right? Like I think that one of the biggest indicators of what kind of audience you actually have on YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, whatever it is not just the volume, but it's the amount of people that transfer from thing to thing. And so like King of the Fourth Quarter is awesome about that. This man could go live on Twitch right now and have like 10,000 people go and watch him play 2K.
Which
and
is
so
crazy.
I've always wanted to kind of test, right. And so I kind of always wanted to test how many people I could like transfer from thing to thing, because for NBA YouTube specifically, I think that even though things have been better lately, there's a pretty clear ceiling in comparison to things like gaming and things like that, right? And so I've always wanted to kind of transfer it into something else and still do NBA at the same time. So yeah, I've been doing some stuff on Twitch because now I actually have everything set up. I have all the space, I have all the lighting, I have the green screen, I have the webcam, I have the microphone, stuff like that. And it's just something that's easier to do consistently as well than like an actual, someone with an actual 9 to 5, because I'm here all day. I can get my shit done and I can go stream. So yeah.
Right. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people in our community starting to stream recently. And that's good too, because I feel like a lot of our community is realizing that like you can only go so much making videos about.
Nobody's buying mansions on NBA.
Yeah. No one's really buying mansions with the way shit has been with the voiceovers. Because as soon as you upload something that's not related to whatever's trending or whatever it is, them
Yep.
views is gonna fucking drop. So
Yep.
it's definitely important in our
We
community
can
to
have
build
this
a
whole big
brand.
conversation if we want to, because I've been all over this thing for like 2 years minimum.
I feel you.
Where I really wish that tomorrow every single person that makes NBA content on YouTube would not show an NBA clip, like would not use NBA footage at all. I really wish tomorrow we could just ban that shit, and I think everything would be a lot better.
Yeah, because it'd be a bunch of personalities rather than essentially like a YouTube version of House of Highlights
Mm-hmm.
or these curated Instagram pages. But yeah, man, good for the NBA community. We're coming together. You know what I'm saying?
Like, do you feel like since you've started to do, because I know you've experimented with face cam stuff a little bit, but this is the best that it's ever done, right?
Yeah.
Do you feel like people are more connected to you as a creator than just your channel and the name and your voice?
Yeah, absolutely.
That I
Like,
think is way more powerful than 100,000 views on a super well edited, everything is just footage. I think that connection to you as a person is way more important.
Yeah, because when I upload now, I'm not scared that it's gonna flop or because depending on the video title, like people come back to watch what I have to say instead of whatever the topic is.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look in my comment section, like half of it is like just like a community literally trolling me.
Right.
So,
just like Discord.
Yeah. So yeah, it's definitely been better. Like I've been more connected with my fans more, and like I think for the first time in my YouTube career, like I feel like I'm a personality instead of just like a dude that has a bunch of subscribers that gets views on videos.
And that allows people to come to something like this much easier because they know you and they're like, hey, I'm interested in this guy as a person, not, hey, here's winners and losers of the NBA draft lottery from the 7th different creator that I've watched. You know what I mean? Like it's different. It's different.
Yeah. So
very true.
Yeah, it took us a while to get here, but people are, and to be honest, like there's just so many videos you can make, especially with like the community being like 5 years old and shit. Because who really wants to see another MJ versus LeBron video?
That's when I knew this was again like 2 years ago. It was like the copyright stuff was really screwing me up, right? And I was like, I'm tired of being paranoid all month long about what is and isn't going to get claimed. I don't want the channel to get in trouble, blah blah. But I also was like, I would watch some of my videos and be like, this is the most boring thing I've ever watched in my life. I know people are going to watch it, but I hate it. And I hated that feeling because the whole point of doing this is doing something that you enjoy. Because if I don't enjoy this, I'd much rather just go to some 9-to-5 that has benefits that I don't have to pay self-employment tax on, that all these other things that a 9-to-5 is better than this. So I might as well enjoy what I'm doing. And I enjoy what I do now more than I ever have.
Yeah. And the reason most people include footage is like, because even right now, you can say the exact same thing, but as soon as you put a face to the words you're saying, people kind of treat you differently, at least with your opinions. Like I know like I'm Asian, right? Like I'm not like the tallest person.
I know where you're going with this.
No, that ass because I've never been like in the NBA, never played D1 basketball, but I would say like at least my opinions are, they're backed up pretty well. So there was a difference in my comment section from the time I wasn't showing my face and the time I started.
Hey, I'll be right back.
You good. Yeah, so I saw a difference between those two.
Yeah, it's just we all run into that, right? Because I don't know. Yeah. I could be 100% wrong, and there could be some fact that I'm unaware of here. But I don't believe that anybody that does NBA YouTube at like a professional, like their actual job level, was with the I guess High Roller was like a D1 athlete, right? But he wasn't like, I don't know if it was necessarily like this man's about to go to the NBA. But the point is, I think we've all learned that NBA experience, high level basketball experience, does not necessarily equate to this guy really knows what he's talking about from an analysis level of basketball. Anybody can talk about basketball. And whether you're right or wrong doesn't necessarily mean you know what you're talking about, but where you're coming from with it, I feel like, and how you're backing it up shows if you're right or wrong. You could be 100% right and just be pulling it out of your ass the whole time. And that doesn't mean you know what you're talking about. It just means you got lucky. So, but I know what you mean. People are like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. This guy's, if I went to go play him one-on-one right now, he couldn't even shoot. You know what I mean? But that's not the point. That's far from the point.
Yeah, most of us really, like, we just love basketball. We just love the NBA. and we just want a platform to talk about our shit.
Right.
Like we're not really trying to be this end all be all source of information. Like we're not trying to be Woj or anything. Like
Right.
we're just
Right.
fans of the game talking our shit
Right.
and want to build a community with that.
And that's how we all started. Like I had stuff I wanted to talk about, and I was like, I'm going to talk about it on the internet, and people wanted to hear it. So that's all it is.
And I've said this on the pod before. Like me and Justin, we were friends in high school, and I've said this multiple times. Like the reason I started this channel is because of the fucking lunch table debates we used to have.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying? We first lunch.
first lunch.
First lunch.
First lunch.
Get to the lunch table. You know what I'm saying? What was the game last night? What happened? Who's better than who? And then
Our
as soon
opinions
as
were ass.
people would literally come to me as a source of like confirmation that they were right. They'd be
That's so
debating some
true.
shit. They'd be debating some shit, and they're like, "Hey, yo, Bezos, what do you think?" Yeah, they're like, "Yo,
This
Bezos,
is
what
what
do
I
you think?"
said, and this
Yo,
is what
Beast,
you
need
said.
backup.
Yeah, I'm like,
You're
dude,
sitting there like, man, I don't care.
I'm literally the same as you guys. I just know how to edit and have a mic.
Mine was the
That's it.
opposite though. Like I didn't have people to talk to this stuff about because whether it be my brother, my dad, anybody in my family, I'm the only one that could tell you anything about sports. Like
Yeah.
my brother doesn't even know what team LeBron James plays on. And so I was the other way. I was like, I need people to talk to about this stuff because I've got so
Right.
many things to say. And then having that community kind of allow me to meet people, whether it's you or Jim or whoever.
Yeah.
But that was the opposite way. It's like, I have so much stuff that I need to talk about because nobody else is listening.
Right.
I think that's one of the main reasons a lot of us don't watch soccer. Is like, man, you watch a couple games, maybe you want to talk about something with your friends. They're like, man, I don't know, I don't care. Like,
Don't come for
you
the
need
soccer
to-
fans now.
you need to
That's a
talk-
big demographic.
and it's not that I don't like soccer.
The biggest demographic.
Oh no.
It's just nobody like around
I don't
where I
co-sign
live
this.
knows anything about it. That nobody watches it. There's no community for us to like where I'm
Yeah.
from to even talk about it. That's why I'm not into it. I'm not against
Yeah.
it.
Soccer sucks.
It's probably
Soccer
cool.
sucks.
It's probably cool.
It
Yeah, I guess
probably.
the
I'm in
NBA community is
America.
more inclusive, I guess. It's like probably one of the more intimate fan bases, I'd like to say, compared to like
Yeah,
maybe
they-
soccer or other sports.
Marcus Smart would probably be pretty good at it. He just lay on the ground the whole time.
The thing about soccer that I don't get is how do you
Marcus.
quantify like a player's skill like with stats? Because aside from goals, like I feel like it's
soccer?
just a bunch of fucking turnovers. Like whenever I watch it, like oh we're going this way, we're going that way. Oh here's a red
Somebody
card.
that really knows what they're talking about is going to come for our throat. I mean, like,
Yeah.
you look at this, and then you got this whole graph, and they got the E ESPN graphics set up with all the
Man has
lines.
bullet
Like,
points.
None of my. You could probably do assists, goals, assists.
goals and assists.
because we're so used to such like a statistic-based argument
Yeah.
with the NBA that I feel like for soccer it's a little bit more difficult. Which I have no clue if that's actually the case, but that's just what I feel like.
The only thing
I
that I've
come
really
back
seen
when we're talking
are
about soccer. What did I?
My
What did I
bad.
miss?
That's what I'm
You
saying.
good?
all good.
Like
all
I
good,
can't
but,
even watch a soccer game and be like to my roommates, be like, yo, you see that Liverpool match last night? They'll be like,
Liverpool.
Nah, man. Look. All jokes aside.
That was so random.
Soccer, for me anyway, I can actually sit down and watch soccer. It just has to be the right circumstances. It has to be like the USA versus Brazil. It has to be like the World
it's like
Games
the
for
World
soccer.
Cup?
World
Yeah,
Cup.
that's the only
World
time I
Cup
watch
is really
soccer.
when I watch it. But even if it's not the World Cup, one, I can never catch an MLS game because I never know when their season starts. So every time I see soccer, it's in another language. I'm sorry, but it's
That's
hard for me. It's hard for me to watch a sport.
This man
Where I
watching
don't know.
Telemundo.
I don't know what's going on.
SAT.
it's so hard to-
Division.
It's so hard to watch a sport where you don't know what the hell's going on and you don't know what they're saying. So, like,
Yeah.
for somebody watching the NBA, if you're watching the NBA for the first time, even if you don't know what basketball is, the commentators can keep you like on a guideline of what the hell you're watching.
Right.
If I'm watching a sport where I don't know why the fact that they just stopped play because the ball went ahead in front of everybody, and all I hear the commentators
Yeah,
say
it
is
took
shit
me a
in-
while to get what offsides was. I'm like,
Yeah, I was like,
Wait,
what the fuck? Yo,
what's
it's
wrong with
free
that?
go. What's going on? And then
What's wrong with
my Mexican friend
offsides?
tell me-
It seemed like a good play to me. It looked like a fast break situation. Like what?
Yeah,
What
I'm
you mean
like,
that's
yo,
a dot?
I'm like,
A clear
what's
pass
offsides?
foul. What are you talking
I'm like,
about?
where's the line of scrimmage? Niggas saying offsides. I don't see a line of scrimmage. Where's the line of scrimmage? Like, I'm American, bro.
Soccer
I'm
fans
too
gonna
American.
hate you, bro.
Yeah,
Bro, I'm
sure.
telling
They
you,
gonna hate
listen,
you.
I'm
They've
at
been
work.
recording for 4 minutes. This from beginning to end. They're gonna cut this up.
Just gonna clip up just
Oh,
this
yeah,
part of the
soccer fans-
podcast. Expose you.
Soccer fans can be at my neck. Listen, I love soccer as an idea. Let me stop.
As
Soccer's cool.
he said as a
Oh.
concept.
It was a
Said
cool
as a
concept,
concept.
but it
What?
didn't really.
Soccer's cool.
It didn't really hit
You know,
with me, you know what I'm
soccer-
saying?
Soccer's fun when I'm in the mood to watch soccer. My only issue
Right.
is I just don't get it. I was at work last night. Literally, the fucking playoffs are on. I'm watching the playoffs. It's like mad late. We're all about to go home. My boss comes in, takes the remote, turns off the playoffs for some random soccer game. And I'm looking, I'm like,
Chelsea versus Everton.
and these niggas is just all, I swear to God, bro, they're going back and forth. And I look at his face because I'm like, okay, if I'm watching a sport that I love, my facial expressions are going to change. I'm like, okay, so when is his facial
Yeah.
expressions going to change? I shit you not. The man walked up the field, kicked the ball, and then that nigga was like, oh. I was like, what is he going to do with it? What is he supposed to do? That nigga
That's
treated him like a
crazy.
Marcus Smart 3. I was like, he just came up the field. What are we upset about? That let me know. I know what's going on in fucking NASCAR before I know what's going on in soccer, bro. I can't
Soccer
do
for
it.
me is like it's like the Olympics. Like I love the Olympics when it's like I can watch the U.S. and like whatever. I'll watch damn figure skating. I don't know. Like I feel a little bit more invested when it's like
Right. Just
you know,
because
the
it's
US
the
versus
Olympics.
Us versus
and
the
the same
world.
thing
Yeah.
for soccer. And the only other time that like I know people that are super invested in soccer, and to be completely honest, when the world was normal, they could go out and do stuff. It's like Saturday morning. They can go out to like an Irish bar at 10 a.m. and drink beer and watch soccer. Like it's so they can drink in the morning and watch soccer. That's the only reason they love it.
That's
It's true.
crazy.
Okay.
That's crazy. But let's move on from soccer. This ain't a fucking soccer
True,
podcast.
true.
Yeah, I can't. I left.
It's
We
soccer
on
talk.
YouTube.
Who brought up
You had
soccer?
some
Come back,
thoughts.
niggas is
Soccer
talking about
talk pod.
soccer. I'm like, okay, all right.
Messy though.
Shout out to my soccer people out there.
Was I going that long?
Y'all got to explain this shit to us, soccer people out there. I don't
No,
know.
we were me and Tucker were dead ass just talking about like how we got started on NBA shit
Mhm.
with YouTube, and then I don't know how soccer was brought up still.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. That was my bad.
You gotta find the
You're
FIFA
good, you're
community and get a guest next week from the FIFA
Yeah,
community.
yeah, we're gonna get KSI on here. You know what I'm saying?
Explain soccer,
KSI.
KSI
Explain
Ojale
soccer.
pit ass.
Ojale. Semi Ojale.
KSI semi Ojale head ass. All right. The All NBA teams were announced this week.
Oh
Also,
Lord.
the MVP was also announced this week, and most of the conversation has been the correlation between those two, if we're being honest. So Giannis was announced as the MVP, and rightfully so. All NBA teams were announced. I don't really think there was any problem with that, except for maybe I think
Bradley Beal.
James Harden. James Harden didn't make All NBA first team. I think that was a big contention.
Yeah, he did.
And Brad, first team.
Did
He
he?
made it. Yeah, the first team is LeBron, Giannis, Harden, AD, Luka.
Okay.
The only thing
Well,
that I
yeah.
saw that people were like not necessarily really upset about, but it's just still the way the voting works. So Chris
Yeah.
Middleton got more total All NBA votes between guard and forward than it was Russ and somebody else and Ben Simmons. But he didn't make All NBA because his votes were split between guard and forward. But he had more total All NBA votes in general than both of those
that's
guys.
That's fuck. I didn't know about that.
And it wasn't close. He had like 30 something at each position, and those guys each had like 40 at guard and like guard or forward, and he didn't make it. Even though
Wait,
he had like 60
so
votes.
so Ben Simmons, that was Ben Simmons that had the splits vote, or Chris Middleton?
How many of those votes were from the same person?
Say that again. What'd you
I
say?
thought that was my internet. I thought that was my internet.
I thought it was mine too. I was like,
I was like,
let me
oh,
check my router
shit.
real quick.
I was like, oh
Is
shit.
Justin still here?
Wait, me?
Hello?
Yeah. Are you?
I'm chilling. I think we're all here.
Justin
You're-
still here? Are you still
We're
here?
chilling.
That is.
Who do you want to say what again?
Okay, Tom. So the Chris Middleton and Ben Simmons shit. It was Ben Simmons who had his splits votes, right? Or was it Chris Middleton?
Nah, so Chris Middleton, people were saying should have made like third team All NBA. But the way the voting went, I guess he was listed at guard and forward. I don't 100% understand it. I know that he got guard and forward votes. And if you would combine those, he had a significant more amount All NBA votes than Russ or Ben Simmons, who both made third team, I
Right.
believe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
but-
I think the All NBA voting definitely has some some problems with it, especially with correlation to the like superlative awards. But my thing is I don't know how you really want to change it.
Right, because
What's-
people are
what's
going to
the
argue
change?
don't do positions, but then at that point, just rank them by 15 through 15 from the MVP.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
You know what I mean?
just look at the DPOY voting and that's your list. Like just divided by 3.
Right.
And you got
So
your-
there's
your
got to be some kind of
teams.
it needs to be clear. Like I guess that's the issue is like the Chris Middleton thing. Is he a guard or forward? Just let him be voted on at one position. Don't let them like write in that he's a forward. I don't know if that's how it works, but clearly there's
Right.
some kind of issue with the position. But I'm completely cool with like perimeter guy, big guy. Just run it
Yeah.
from there. Like you either have the ball in your hand or you're running ball screen. Like you're the screener. Like you do one of those.
So my question is, what do you qualify Giannis as if that's the case?
He's a perimeter guy.
Ooh,
I
he's
go
a
perimeter
forward.
guy. He's creating.
Forward.
So you think he's a perimeter guy?
I don't
Like,
know.
if we're
man.
just going-
See,
like-
that's exactly what I'm talking about. There's a level
But
of
you-
contention. when
I
it
feel
comes to
like
players
it's
that.
easier to split it that way though, because you could be like with Giannis as an example, you could be a perimeter creator guy 1 through 4. If you're the 5, you're not unless you're Jokic, who's you can still consider him a big because it's out of the post. He's not running ball screens as a ball handler. I feel like it's easier just to these are the guys that create, these are guys in the perimeter, and these are the like true 5s because there's not that many of them that are going to be making the All NBA teams in the first place anyway. So you got one of those on every team.
True.
So you got like you can just pick 3 big guys, and then the other 4 are like perimeter creators, stuff like that. I don't know.
Right.
Probably not perfect, but
Yeah,
there probably isn't
I
a
guess
perfect
so.
way to do it either.
I
Yeah.
can see that.
Yeah.
I mean, I
feel
feel
like-
Rudy Gobert
Right.
making the All NBA team.
Right.
Nobody gives a shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think there should be. I think it should just be positionless. Like the all team, like all first, second, and third team.
Yeah,
It should
just
be
pick the
best
position
players.
before you vote. So you can
Not
get
even
votes
that.
in 2
It should
positions.
just be the best players. It shouldn't even be about position.
But then
Because
it's just the
they're-
MVP voting 1 through 15.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
we're saying. That's the whole point
Okay.
of the MVP voting. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, but first of all, I'm gonna be honest. Why the hell, when it comes to MVP voting, why are we even looking to fucking 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11? Like I seen a post the other day, Jason Tatum finished 11th MVP. Who the fuck cares?
So
like,
we can
give me
put
the
that
top-
in a
but
video
give me-
2 years from now. Oh, he was on the come up. We used 7th. I've done that. I've
He was
100%
top 10
said that
MVP
someone was
voting.
like 7th in
Seriously.
MVP voting. Yeah.
For MVP voting, I feel like it should just top 5 players. Top 5 should be MVP voting. Because let's be honest,
Right.
are you really in contention for MVP at 11? At 11th? Come on,
Right.
bro. Like
if you
so
don't get
top
invited
5
to the show as a nominee, you don't
Finalist,
need to be
yeah.
on the list.
Yeah.
Thank you. So it should be
Yeah.
top 3 to top 5 for MVP voting, and then the all team should be just based off of your ability to play basketball. Who's the best players in the league at that time? Because the game is getting too positionless. That's what I'm saying. Like back in the day, the position thing worked because everything was more set based on what position you play. But today, when you have fucking Bam bringing the ball up the court, Jokic being more of a point guard for his team,
Yeah.
it's Giannis being like, you don't know what position Giannis is. KD's being talked about put at the 5. Like these next 5 years,
Yeah.
James Harden, who in my opinion is still a point guard, Luka, who's a point guard,
Right.
there's no real positions anymore. Like there's just,
Mhm.
what are you doing on the court? Are you bringing the ball up the court? Are you the playmaker for your team? Are you the anchor on offense? And like, what are you? So I feel like it should just, the voting should be based on where the league is at the time. So
But even-
positionless
even-
league, positionless voting.
But even if you say the top 3-5 shit, the way
MVP
the
voting?
voting works, yeah. So the way
Uh-huh.
the voting works right now is you have 120 plus voters, right? And each voter has a first place vote, who they think should win it, a second place vote, and a third place vote. And each vote has its own point percentage. So I think first is like 4 or something.
Yeah.
Second is 3.
I know, like the 3-2-1 system shit.
Yeah, so the reason
Yeah.
why it goes all the way to 10th is because of dumbasses who think like Jason Tatum should have like had the third vote.
Someone voted Patrick Beverly
But-
Defensive Player of the Year, bro.
But that's what I'm saying. But even though you try to take precautions to prevent those type of things, that type of shit is going to happen. My thing is this: after you get the voting done and you tally all the votes, at that point you should be like, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 have the most votes. Boom. That's the list. That's
So you're saying it should just be like a top 5? Top 5?
top 5. I don't understand why when it comes
I
to
agree
MVP
too. I
voting,
don't see why it
why
has
the
to
hell
be
are we
10.
looking at 15th, 10th? Like who the fuck cares? Like
No,
Yeah.
but what
No,
I'm
you're
saying is when it comes to
I mean-
the All NBA teams you were talking about, isn't that
Uh-huh.
isn't that the same thing essentially?
But
If
yeah,
you're
it's
just
the
ranking
same
the
thing.
top-
But what I'm saying, yeah, it's the same thing. But what I'm saying is for the all team voting, don't do it based on position. Like he said, with Chris Middleton, his votes got split up between guard and forward. That's idiotic. Like his vote should just be his votes. They shouldn't be split through position because you have situations like where a guy has more votes than somebody, but because he was labeled as a certain thing for some people and not others, he missed out on the opportunity to be on off NBA team selection. Like he missed out on the opportunity. And that matters when it's contract negotiation time. That matters when you're trying to get more money. Like that's what teams look at. In basketball, they look at your accolades. They look at your stats and look at your accolades. What did they say? They said Rudy Gobert, because he got put on the all team, I think it was defensive team or whatever it was. The nigga, he's eligible for a Supermax now.
Yeah.
Rudy Gobert is eligible for a Supermax.
Yeah.
That's what really not necessarily screws the whole thing up, but that's why it like actually really matters how they vote for this shit, because there was a year, the year Gordon Hayward went to the Celtics, he didn't make All-NBA team. Had he made it, he would have been able to make like an extra $60 million staying in Utah. I'm not saying he would have stayed, but like that's a lot of money to put on the line for an All-NBA team.
That's
like
a
especially
lot
third team.
of fucking money.
You know what I mean? Because
$60 million.
So Rudy
Holy
Gobert,
shit.
it's like MVP, DP, like if you win like one of the big awards, not six man, but like if you win like Defense Player of the Year, MVP, what you make an All-NBA team? Well, we're not giving Supermax but you know what I mean? Like,
for being best at the bench. Get that shit.
There are some people listening that are like,
Yeah,
why the hell do
Montrez.
they care so much about the All-NBA team? That's part of the reason. Like that's a lot of money that can completely screw up somebody's cap if they got to pay somebody 60 whatever. Like Bradley Beal is, even though he just signed an extension, needs a new contract in like 2 or 3 years. And so within these next 2 or 3 years, if he makes an All-NBA team and he's still in Washington, they can give him the Supermax. Like this stuff matters for stuff like that.
Yep.
Yeah. And I guess the one thing I was kind of confused on was because LeBron said for at least the most improved player, like he pointed out that Devontae Graham barely got any votes.
Yeah.
So
LeBron pointed that out in the video.
But I guess my question is, if you're a voter and a majority of the voters think that Brandon Ingram is the most improved player, and that's like the consensus, I don't know what you expect for them to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, if the consensus is Brandon Ingram's the most improved player, and LeBron even said that Brandon Ingram is the most improved player in his eyes, and you have a pool of voters, why would, like, I don't see the problem if like only 7 of them think that Devontae Graham was most improved.
I mean, that just falls into personal bias at that point. Like a lot of players believe in Devontae Graham. Like a lot of players are hyping up Devontae Graham about his improvement. So with that type of thing, is just you going for the players you like. Like back in 2018, when LeBron made comments about how great Dennis Smith Jr. was and how the Knicks were crazy for passing up on him for Frank Ntilikina. It's just you picking out players that you like personally over other players and creating narratives. Players do it too. They create their own narratives. That shit don't work because they tried to create this narrative for Devontae Graham and that shit did not work. Them niggas like, yeah, we don't give a fuck what y'all saying, but it is what it is.
From 4 points
I
to
don't really
16
care.
Points. That's a big improvement.
It just depends.
That's a
It's like
big
the MVP
improvement.
stuff. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was about to say that's a big improvement, but you can see why people pick Brandon Ingram for the simple fact.
Yeah.
For the first like 2 or 3 years, people didn't believe. Like people thought he was going to be a buzz. They didn't think he was going to live up to the expectations placed on him.
I didn't. At all.
We did it, nigga. We used to literally sat in this motherfucker like, yeah, we see why we need to trade Brandon Ingram.
Julius
Brandon
Randle
Ingram.
ended up being trash, but
Yeah, like we see why Ingram be traded. He trash. Get him out of here. Like we were those people.
Yeah.
So now look at him. Now we're like, yo, bring Ingram back, nigga. Get Kuzma out of here. We need Ingram.
facts.
Ingram's looking like he's fulfilling his potential. He's looking like he's filling out his potential. So I can see why you was. Plus, they didn't have Zion. Like that team didn't have Zion. So no one really expected anyone to really pop from that team, and he just exploded. Like he had the good finish of the season last year. Well, no, until he got hurt. But other than that, man, no one expected Brandon Ingram to come out and be like, how much did he average? 24?
24, 25.
23?
Yeah.
Yeah, no one expected that from him. Like nobody.
I definitely didn't.
It just depends on like how you evaluate the awards, I guess. Like people have different criteria for what MVP means, and it's the same for most improved. Like if you want to go from like this dude really wasn't playing to he's, you know, second leading scorer on the team, 18 a game, whatever, one of the best high volume 3-point shooters in the league. then maybe you go Devontae Graham. But if you go, okay, this guy in Brandon Ingram is just overall doing more. Maybe not the improvement might not be there as much, but he's just overall doing more. But what I want to know is, I can't remember when you did like the community like awards, did they match up with who actually won this year that much or no? Because I think I voted Bam most improved, and I feel like that's who ended up winning.
Bam won the NBA award show.
And then sixth man I thought was Dennis Schroeder as well. I'm just curious like how they lined up.
Yeah, so the actual awards, Montrez won it. I still don't know how.
Montrez we probably need to. I know we haven't talked about the Clippers too much, but we probably need to talk about Montrez a little bit.
Yeah, we can talk about him. So for the real awards,
all them boys.
So for the real awards, Montrez won Sixth Man of the Year, and for most improved, Brandon Ingram won. But for our award show, we had Bam winning most improved, and we had Dennis Schroeder winning Sixth Man of the Year. Which, in my opinion, I think our award show is better in terms of the outcomes.
Yeah, they should choose the Supermax.
Yeah, talk your shit. Yeah,
show.
It is.
Let them know.
I don't know how Montrez won Sixth Man of the Year. Like, let's just get into that. How did he win Sixth Man of the Year when he should? First of all, because he should be sharing votes with Lou Will essentially, because there's pretty much six men on that team. Not even six men, but yeah. So he's splitting those votes, and I don't know how you can look at Dennis Schroeder, who is a top 3 player on the Thunder, and coming off the bench, and he's so much more valuable to the Thunder than Montrez is to the Clippers, simply for the fact that the Clippers have Lou Will. So I don't know how Montrez won it. Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know. I know one thing. He definitely didn't fucking deserve it. When I seen him win it, I was like, I don't see how he won it. I don't.
Dude averaged 10 points in the playoff, bro.
Like, not even that. I just I figured
garbage.
It's a regular season, but
I figured Lou Will would have got most.
Was
of
it right after the regular season, right before the bubble started?
I think it was during this. Did the seeding games count? I can't remember. I don't know if the seeding games counted. I think they might have.
It's everything before
okay.
But shit got canceled.
But
yeah, I mean, it is a regular season award. I get that.
Right.
I get that more than most people, but even when you look at the regular season, I still don't know how he won it.
I feel like I remember seeing though that Lou Williams had like tweeted either after he won the award or before that he thought Montrez should have won it. But the award to me, honestly, like, I care about defense player of the year. I care about MVP, sixth man, most improved. I care about a little bit. I don't really care about those too much. But the thing that is weird to me is like within a span of a week, like, do we think Montrez got exposed a little bit in the postseason? Do we still think he's getting paid? Like, they were really bad with him on the floor. Like, they could not guard the Nuggets when he was on the floor. Yep. Like, to be fair, the Nuggets were shredding them regardless because they were doubling the post. But like, the Zubac's being in foul trouble didn't help either. But like, to be completely unable to guard at the 5 where he has to play makes me wonder like where his value is really at.
But even in the round before, it wasn't just with that series. Like, he wasn't the whole playoffs. He was barely getting minutes.
Which is weird because when they played the Lakers in the regular season, did they just switch the matchup? Like, was Paul George on Anthony Davis at times or Kawhi? Because they guarded them pretty well, I feel like, in the regular season, even with Montrez on the floor. I could be remembering that incorrectly, but
I think Kawhi was guarding AD. Like,
Kawhi did guard AD. Yeah. Kawhi guarded AD.
Yeah.
I want to say Kawhi guarded AD. Who else? Zubac would be on AD. Zubac and Harold, they kind of like split time on AD when they were on the court. But Kawhi, when they switched, he would be on AD. And unless the Lakers ran a set to try to get like a mismatch, that'd be what it was. Kawhi, Montrez, Zubac, and that was it. Yeah. My thing with Harold is this.
Go ahead.
Harold is great hustle guy. He's the guy that you would like on your team. Like, if he's on your team, he's going to do things that don't show up in the stat sheet that you love.
He's going to show up. He's going to be there. He's going to be out there.
He's going to give you hustle. With those type of players, you will always get a situation like this where they will get phased out. Like, the hustle just doesn't fucking matter if you're getting outplayed very badly.
You can't
like,
guard.
We're playing. Yeah, so like stuff like that just doesn't matter. I don't think his value kind of like dipped or got hurt. I know for a fact someone's going to pay him. Somebody's going to pay that man. Someone's going to pick him up. But I don't think Knicks will pay anybody right now. They pay Julius Randle. They definitely pay him. But I don't think his value got hurt. I don't think any less of Montrezl Harrell than I did already. I didn't think too highly of him. I didn't think I didn't think he was 6th man of the year. I didn't think he was like I don't know. It's kind of hard.
He is what you thought he was.
Yeah, basically. Like he's exactly who I thought he was.
Cool.
He's playing exactly how I figured he was going to play. He didn't show up where I figured he was. Well, no, I didn't figure he wasn't going to show up right there. Honestly, that was luck. I didn't think Clippers going to wet the bed that bad. But hey, when you're the little brother, little brothers always fail to goddamn show up every now and then. You know, big brother got to take the reins. You know, like say that.
They're the B team.
We're not on Clippers. We're not on Clippers slander right now. I'm saving the Clippers slander for the segment. Don't worry about it. I'm off.
It's okay, Down. It's okay.
It was just so strange. I'm not saying that they lost the series because Montrezl couldn't guard Jokic. Jokic was incredible, and they could have defended him better. They didn't need to double the best big man pass in the league every time down the floor, right? Like they could have done some better things. And part of it was just a personnel issue. They have one good defensive big that has the size to play Jokic one-on-one. But like the plus minus stuff and how bad they were defensively when he was on the floor was so bad that it made me wonder, like, are people going to rethink how much value he actually brings? Because like you said, he brings hustle. He's really worked on his offensive game, finishing inside, things like that. But when you really can't guard like that, it's a problem, especially in the playoffs, which is what people are going to try and pay you for at this point. So
that's true. That's the
Definitely
team that don't make the playoffs
time.
pay you.
Yeah, definitely not the best time for Montrez to play the way
right
he
here.
did.
He's making like 6, and he was in line for a big raise, which he might still get. But
I know for a fact the Charlotte Hornets ain't making the playoffs, so they're like regular season Harold. We can use that. That'd be great.
put people in seats when we're allowed to do that again. Let's do that.
Yeah,
I mean, if the Hornets get LaMelo, they got some building blocks there.
Best believe the Hornets get LaMelo. I'm pulling up to every Hornets game I possibly can. I'm going to all the trash games. Hornets versus Hawks. Hornets versus
I'll go to a
Grizzlies.
couple when I'm down there.
I'm pulling up to all the cheap games, nigga. That's it.
The
I'm
cheap
pulling
games.
all the young stars. I'm pulling up those games immediately.
Big
Are we
facts.
off the award topic? Because I had another point I actually wanted to bring up. You know how like in 2012, Marc Gasol won what was it, Defensive Player of the Year, but he didn't end up on a defensive team?
Yeah.
That's another pet peeve that I have. Like if a player's going to win one of the main awards, but they don't end up on a All-NBA team, that's a problem too.
Is it the same voting pool? Like, are the same people that vote on the awards vote on? Because I don't see how that could possibly happen if it's the same group of people.
That's also another thing.
Yeah.
So
I'm not sure.
for the actual superlative awards, the media votes, but for the All NBA teams, coaches vote.
Okay.
Ooh.
They know that.
So that's how that. Because
Really?
And I was
also-
watching Kenny's video.
and also-
he mentioned
Oh, yeah.
all of that.
Yeah, and also with the All NBA team specifically at that time, the problem not only was the competition at the center really wild, and the race for Defensive Player of the Year really close that year. It was like 5 deep, which is extremely rare.
Yeah.
But also when it comes to the All NBA team, like we said earlier, positions did matter back then. So for each team, there's only one center, and that was a big reason why Marc Gasol didn't make the first team. But also that year, Tyson Chandler and I forgot who, Joakim Noah, they had the same amount of first place votes. So what actually ended up happening was on the first team there were 2 centers, and there were 6 members in the all defensive first team. So to me, like 2013 is such a rare case to bring up. If I'm being
I had no
honest.
idea it was different groups of people voting. I just assumed, which I don't understand why that would be the case. If you want to have coaches and media vote, cool. Have 800 people vote. I don't care how many people vote. It's a larger sample size. You're probably going to get to a better answer. I don't know why it needs to be split between 2 different groups of people.
Yeah.
When a
I
person
just-
votes for Patrick Beverly for Defensive Player of the Year, it's a problem.
So we need to cut it down a little bit. Then probably.
That's ridiculous.
You feel like, that's what they should do is every year they should be able to veto someone off the voting pool. If you're
That's
doing
a waste
that,
of a
you're
vote.
out. You're out. I'm getting rid of you.
That could have
We're
been
going down a
vote
member.
easily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Because I'm looking at the Defensive Player of the Year voting right now, from 1 through from the 2nd place to the 5th place. Each of them had pretty much 100 points, which is a decent amount going that deep. Because most of the time it's either like one player or another. So for it to go 5 deep is pretty rare, and it was just a really close race. Like for the guy who finished 5th in voting that year, he had 9 first place votes. It was Tony Allen. But Tim Duncan, who finished 6th, had more first place votes than Tim Duncan. But the reason why Tony Allen was ranked higher was because he had more points total. So that year was I to me personally, 2013 is an anomaly. But I do agree that and I honestly made this mistake on Twitter yesterday that 11% of the time for this to happen, there are changes that need to be made to the voting. But I feel like for them to just do 2 backcourts and 3 front court players is the change that they've tried to make it less positional, to make it more positionless. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, they're trying. I really don't know how much else they could do with the All NBA teams aside from like getting rid of it.
We want to do Clipper stuff? Are we ready? Is everybody warmed up?
All right, is everybody warmed up?
Right before
y'all get in your bag. Y'all get in your bag.
Right before we get into this, I just want to say one thing, and it's still referring to like the award voting and shit like that. Did y'all see John Morant call out the dude that didn't vote for him for Rookie of the Year?
Yes, I saw.
Did y'all see that
video on that? I saw
that dude is
video
fucking.
On that.
That dude.
I seen the tweet live. I seen like the.
That's the same
tweet.
Dude that voted for Pat Bev for Defensive Player of the Year.
Swear to God,
we gotta kick him out. Like we gotta pick one person every year to get rid of. I'm telling you.
And also I get the whole LeBron shit, but this one guy voted for LeBron MVP, Pat Bev Defensive Player of the Year, and Zion for Rookie of the Year. And he was also the same guy that voted for Carmelo Anthony in 2013.
That's him.
Who is it?
That's him.
What's his name?
But we're all talking about him today, and so is Twitter. So maybe he's doing the right thing because nobody's talking about him yesterday.
No. He's not doing the right thing. The reason people are talking about him is because we never knew who this nigga was. This whole time.
Now you know his name.
He's ratio now. Bro, do you know how many people are not about to get this man a job now because people are like, oh,
he's on his LeVar Ball shit.
Oh man, nah. You voted for Melo. Get the fuck out my face, man.
The only one that voted for Zion. Bro.
He gave the explanation to why he voted for Zion, which honestly was horrible. Like, I'd rather you not say anything. Like, he didn't say nothing for a good 4 hours. I was like, okay, and I remember I tweeted to him. I tweeted at him. I was like, bro, so you're not going to say anything? Literally, like an hour after that, he put his explanation out, and I was like, oh, delete that shit. You might as well not have said anything.
Wasn't it like the 24 games Zion played were like marquee events or something? Was like his explanation.
Was like, he said the reason I can't find the tweet to go word for word, but literally he was like, the reason he voted for Zion is because the fact the NBA scheduled a TV schedule. They had the TV schedule around them.
Yeah, they had more NBA TV games for him.
They had the NBA TV schedule around them. They did the bubble thing around him. He's a more marketable name. Like he's a superstar level name. In only 24 games, he had a more impact. That's why. And I remember the first tweet I seen this from Low. He was like, "So you're telling me you voted Zion because he had more TV games?"
Yeah, I saw that.
He didn't show up for 18 of.
Yeah, I'm
to be fair, I'm not slandering Zion. Like I'm excited about Zion. Whatever. I hope he's healthy and everything moving forward. But yeah, that's a ridiculous explanation.
All my excitement went into that nigga's stomach because he's too goddamn big to even be excited about anymore. Seeing Zion come back to the bubble bigger really de-escalated all of my hype on him. Like I was like, bro, he comes back to the bubble in shape. He's gonna be that guy. He came back looking like Shawn Kemp in 2001. I was like, yeah, no, this isn't about to be anything pleasant. But like I said, I just wanted to see if y'all seen that thing with John Morant. It's Clipper slander time, baby. Oh my earbud came out.
And one last thing, I don't know who voted for Christian Wood for most improved player, but your mom needs
probably Joe Cowley. It's probably Joe Cowley.
Yo, Christian Wood, but Christian Wood's lit though. I fuck Christian Wood.
Oh, yeah. Most improved player.
All right, man. We build up to the Clipper slander. Y'all go ahead.
Anyways,
bro. Y'all go ahead. Where do you want to start off?
Let's clap it up, guys. It was great.
Clippers
Bucks, Clippers Celtics, Clippers Heat, Clippers this, Clippers that.
Clippers Sixers.
Nigga. Shut up, nigga.
At least Clippers Lakers, man.
Clippers Sixers.
We didn't even get that.
Shut up, you so the Clippers have arguably two top 15 players in Paul George and Kawhi. They have 2 6 men in Montrezl Harrell and Lou Will. Doc Rivers, who is supposedly this great coach who honestly is one of the more overrated coaches of all time, in my opinion. And you guys blow a 3-1 lead to the Nuggets. Not to say that the Nuggets is a bad team, but the expectations for the Clippers was to make the finals, and you're losing in the second round to a team that probably shouldn't even be that. It shouldn't have gone that far with the Clippers. I thought it was going to be Clippers in 5, honestly. So there is no excuse for this team. I mean, what can you say about a team that's, just the B team? They ain't shit. They garbage. We all know this.
I will say, so I did pick, I thought the Clippers were going to be really good. I thought that they were legitimately going to win the title. I will go ahead and say that. And I obviously didn't work out. But here's the reason why. So they got the roster construction is nice, right? They got guys that can shoot. They got, Landry Shamet can shoot a little bit. Pat Bev is kind of like a role player guy. They've got a good bench, 2 stars. But if you had replaced Kawhi with 90% of the other quote unquote stars in the league, I wouldn't have picked him. But after watching what he did last year with the Toronto roster that arguably was or wasn't as good as this Clippers roster, it's kind of hard to tell now because of limited postseason success. Kawhi was the reason that I liked them so much. And that was the most surprising thing. And people are giving him a pass way more than they would with a lot of other people.
No passes here. No,
but Kawhi was the reason for me. It wasn't, it's the Clippers are this great team. It was, I saw what Kawhi did last year.
Ain't no pass, niggas. Ain't no pass. Ain't no pass. 6 for 22. What did he shoot? 6 for 22? What did he shoot that last game?
He was really bad in 6 and 7. He was really, really bad for the floor in both 6 and 7.
There's no excuse for that, man. Anyways, Dom, you can go ahead. I put out a video about this, so I
was on airplane mode right now.
I don't feel the need to address Clippers fans. You're the B team. Come on now, we all know this. You're the kings of the of the state. So I'll let Dom go.
Is it my turn? It's my turn. It's my turn. It's my turn. On my skip shit. I told niggas. I've been telling niggas all year. I've waited for this. When I seen them lose, I legit waited for this moment where I can come in this podcast and talk my shit. Niggas told me all year about why Kawhi-less braids and PG-13 was going to win a championship, keep LeBron from getting ring number 4, keep AD from getting ring number 1, keep us from doing it for Kobe. Oh, they told us every reason why we wasn't going to be like that. Montrezl Harrell, he's going to get all the boards. Who's stopping Lou Will from scoring? He hit his first shot. It's game.
Man, Zubac.
Y'all gave him Zubac. He's better than all your centers. I've heard it all.
Better than JaVale.
Oh, who's guarding Kawhi and PG? How you gonna stop? We didn't even have to stop Kawhi and PG. They stopped themselves.
That's sad.
They all popped up.
That's how I know that team is cursed. That team is cursed, bro.
We didn't even have to do nothing. We did less work than I assumed we would have to do. I thought we would just have to be good. We didn't have to be shit because they didn't make it to us.
They didn't have to change anything.
That's the best part. They didn't even make it to us. Stop, KB. I'm talking to you, KB.
KB.
We lose one game to the Rockets. All I see is my notifications pop up. Oh, where the Laker fans at? That Discord been pretty fucking quiet, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty fucking quiet.
Niggas ain't in HTC no more. You niggas is quiet as a bitch.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I'm on asses.
We're not doing
today.
This.
I'm on asses today.
Pause.
Niggas was talking big shit. Pause. I'm paused.
Pause.
Hey, yo.
Nigga, I'm talking shit. I am talking big shit.
Talk your shit, bro.
Because I've had to deal with this shit since they signed Kawhi.
Since they signed, yeah.
Since the trade that brought PG to the Clippers. All I've been hearing from fucking Clipper fans, from you fake ass Laker fans. Lo, I'm talking to you, Lo. I'm talking to you. You told me I was crazy. You said you had doubts, nigga. You were doubting. You always doubted the land. You always doubt us. You doubted us.
You doubted the land?
You doubted us.
Believe land.
You thought we were the second best team in LA. You doubted us. You sat in Discord and told me, how is a team with Alex Caruso and Rondo gonna compete with that? Quiet. You told me that, nigga.
Now he's quiet.
Look, where we at?
Now he's wearing Heat jerseys.
We're about to go to the Big 17s. We talking about a team that was about to get bought as a damn D-League team. Get the fuck out of here. We was gonna buy them as our D-League team, man. And niggas want to talk to me about this team? This cursed ass Imagine Imagine the Lakers finally fall off a cliff. Imagine Lakers fall off a cliff. You get Chris Paul, who was supposed to be ours. You get Blake Griffin. You get all these players. You built this Lob City bullshit team, and for the first 3 years of Lob City, that's all people cared about. Oh, who talk about the Lakers now, huh? It's Lob City. We got the Clippers. Clippers are the team of LA. That's all you talked about. You bitches never made it past the second round. Never. You blow it up.
Never.
You blow it up. You got nothing but fucking role players. You got
blew a 3-1 lead.
With Alexander. You got fucking. Who else did you have? Who the fuck cares? You had all these fucking role players.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
And fucking KB telling me, oh, we're definitely in a better situation than the Lakers to get a ring in the next 3-4 years. Oh yeah, really? Really? You are, huh? You're in a better situation, huh? You never did shit. You ain't never gonna be shit. You never was shit. It don't matter. We're talking about the fucking Clippers. The fucking choke 'em up Clip 3-1 lead, nigga. You blowing 3-1. You're blowing 3. Go sign KD because you blew a 3-1.
Yeah, go sign KD, bro. Go sign KD, bro.
You better hope Giannis come there because if you don't get a superstar, you're not pulling the Warriors. There's no 2 rings after this one, baby.
When the Warriors come back, they definitely not contending at all. That's the case.
Talking to me about the goddamn Clippers all goddamn had me worried. Had me worried about this team.
I wasn't worried at all. Was I, Bezos?
Niggas talking to me about a fucking PG-13.
I'm just saying.
You goddamn right to PG-13. It take grown men to win in this league. You need to be rated R.
You need to be rated R.
Rated R superstar on some edge shit, nigga. You got to be rated R to win around here.
Oh, man. This man Don's in his fucking bag.
Oh, my God, man. I've been waiting.
Crazy.
I waited for this moment. I thought this moment would come in the conference finals. You niggas couldn't even make it. You couldn't make it to the conference finals.
Chris came early for this, man.
Oh, my God.
Dom has a platform and he's using it.
I don't need shit else. I don't need shit else for the rest of the year. I don't. All I need to see is LeBron hold that trophy up and say, Kobe, it's for you. This is for you. That's all I need right now. That would complete it. That would complete my joy. But just know, Clipper fans, before this season, you niggas couldn't say shit to me. KB, this is definitely for you. Y'all better not say a motherfucking word to me.
They don't have any room to talk. There's no room to talk.
Y'all better win like 7 rings before you start fucking talking to me again. Because this
7?
season
Wow,
hurt
that's
you
a big
niggas.
expectation. Wow,
This season
7.
hurt you niggas.
Let's start on 1.
Bezos, didn't we have the Ling Wing Ducks above them when we did
the Ling Ling Ducks. Oh my
the top
God.
franchises of all time? Like, didn't we put the Ling Wing Ducks before them?
We ranked the 30 teams in the NBA all the time once, and we had a Chinese team above the Clippers.
Well, guess what? Now we can put another team above them. The goddamn Vancouver Mooses are above them too. Because these niggas suck. They can't do it. Blow it up. Blow it. You gave up your future. You gave up your future for a nigga who can never show up when it matters.
How do they blow it up?
I don't give a fuck how they blow it up. Sell the team. That's how you blow it up. Get the fuck out of LA.
Sell the team.
You niggas are exiled.
The Compton Clippers?
Spit on your grave, nigga. Spit on your grave.
Just spit on his body.
Dead.
Okay,
About to light
Kanye,
a couple
relax.
pack up again.
This man on his Kanye bag, bro.
Oh my God, bro. Oh, I'm done.
Let me see the contracts, head up.
I'm done.
Oh man.
I'm done. I got it out my system. It's out my system.
Yeah,
I'm good.
there's just no excuse. There's just no excuse for this Clippers team.
So
we're-
Los Angeles Scissors now.
That was great.
They
That was great.
they underperform top to bottom. Like Kawhi has made this reputation of just like everyone else might be shit, but Kawhi will be consistent in the playoffs. But even he choked.
Kawhi's not
7.
vocal, so he's not going to get slandered like other superstars.
So where are we at then with the blame? Like if we're ranking like, okay, this is whose fault it was.
Oh,
way down.
one and two, Lou Will and Montrez. Because them motherfuckers play like they shouldn't even be in the fucking rotation.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Like
Lou Will
30%.
was shooting 30%, 13% from 3. Like Lou Will, what,
Send him
what
back
are
to the
you
strip
doing?
club. Go get some
And
wings,
he's not
nigga.
doing. And he's not
Get all
doing
the wings
anything
you
on
want now.
defense. He's definitely not doing anything on defense. We already talked about how Montrez been trash. And he was averaging 10 points and 3 rebounds. 6th man of the year right
But
there.
that's how they had set themselves up, though, was like if those guys weren't doing anything off the bench, they didn't have guys they could put out there that are just going to defend and shoot and then let PG and Kawhi do whatever. They always needed those two guys to score. Right. That's how they set themselves up.
Which is justified. These 2 guys are in the 6th man of the year conversation every single year, and that should be enough. And you have Landry Shamet on top of that, and you have Marcus Morris, and you have Reggie Jackson, and you have Ivica Zubac. So it's not like they didn't have depth.
Right.
If anything, that was the one thing that a lot of people said as to why the Clippers do have a chance of beating the Lakers. Because although the Lakers do have the better duo, the Clippers have 2 six-man of the year candidates, a defensive one of the best perimeter defenders in the league.
If the Lakers had that squad, what would be the narrative? If the Lakers had that squad, what would be the narrative?
Oh man, LeBron can never be the GOAT. AD let's really think about it.
If LeBron had that squad, what would be the narrative?
He had no help. That's the narrative.
That is a fact. He didn't have no help.
Had no help.
LeBron wouldn't have no help. Where was Lowell? Where was Landry Shamet?
The thing with those guys,
Landry Shamet.
You know, like you can say, yeah, we got depth. There's a difference between having bodies and having depth. Like they had guys that could be out there, but they didn't have guys that could do anything if they weren't scoring. So like Montrezl and Lou couldn't score. They might as well have been at the end of the bench because they don't have guys that can defend and can shoot. And suddenly they don't have a lineup to put out there at the end of games. Like that was the issue all year long was they would get, whether it's Christmas Day, whatever, they would get into to big games and they wouldn't have a group that they could put on the floor that could defend and can shoot and let Kawhi and PG do their thing. Because remember, Kawhi was awesome in the postseason last year, but in Game 7 against the Sixers, he shot 39 times. Shot 39 times because everybody else was just doing their thing, and they knew he was going to make 45% of his shots get to the line, and they would be fine offensively. But they couldn't do that because there's no point in having Lou Will and Montrezl on the floor if they're not going to score because they can't do anything else.
There's no point in having Paul George on the floor if he can't do anything.
Can you imagine we're living in a world?
So to me, the hierarchy is Lou Will and Montrez, and then after that, I'd say PG because he was just so inconsistent.
PG was ass.
I'd say
PG's number one on my list.
NC-17
all the way down.
Well, because I don't know how much Doc Rivers could have done. Like he had the pieces with him. They just played like shit.
Well, at a certain point, especially with the bigs, personnel was an issue. Zubac is the only defensive big they have. I mean, again, doubling was not really the solution, but
that's what I'm saying.
I don't know. Someone's got to be blamed, though, right? Like they got to have somebody, and I wouldn't be surprised if Doc becomes the guy because he has that reputation of blowing 3-1 leads. I think this is like the 6th or 7th one, 3-1 or 3-2 that his teams have blown, which he's been coaching for like 30 years, but still.
Yeah, but like, what do you blame him for? What do you be like? Oh, you didn't tell your guys to play hard.
That's what I'm saying. When you look at Doc Rivers and you're trying to blame him, I don't know specifically what you point at.
Right. No, that's
you
fair.
can't blame him for guys
not making adjustments.
You can't hate him for God. You can't blame.
But what adjustments should have you made?
Not playing PG because he would have got hate for that.
Maybe, that's a start. Not playing PG.
So if Doc would have sat, he would have went and benched PG. He would have benched Montrez and Lou Will. That nigga would have got fired mid-game.
Build more so around Kawhi instead of having PG there just because he's the second.
It's year one. It's year one.
Yeah, but
that's
not his. If anything, that should be Jerry West getting a lot of the blame. If it's a personnel issue.
I think the roster was a lot more flawed than we thought it was. And once they got into a team that not only had a duo in Jamal and Jokic that was playing extremely well, and then one of those guys is a big, which they struggled to defend because of their personnel, but then other guys like Gary Harris that can guard and can shoot. Michael Porter Jr. could come in and do some things. Paul Millsap is a front court player that can shoot a little bit and can play against someone like Montrez and not have Jokic have to guard him all the time. We didn't realize it until things got really bad in the series, but they had more versatile pieces. The Clippers had one way to play and it didn't work.
I mean, I would say this for the Clippers. For the Clippers, I feel like they're one of the teams, just like I feel like this applies to the Bucks. The 4-month layoff affected them way more than we originally thought. Like way more than people thought. It affected them. Because before the layoff, they seemed legit. They were a legit team. There wasn't this many questions about this team. When they got back to the Bucks
or the Clippers, sorry. Who are you talking about?
The Clippers.
Okay.
The Clippers seem legit. Then they get to the bubble. Okay, everybody got to shake the rust off. But when the playoffs came around, with the Lakers, we'll lose the first game. We're winning the next 4. We did that for the first 2 series. The dominant team showed they're going to be dominant. With this Clippers team from round 1, from the round with the Mavs, they would just drop games that you shouldn't drop. Luka's hitting game. They just weren't consistent. They weren't consistent from the start of the playoffs.
That
should have been a big sign that this shit was probably going to crash and burn if they got to a legit team. And what's a better team than the team that already came back from a 3-1 lead? And once that 3-1 lead started to dwindle for them, you could have the writing was already in the stars. You already could see it like, okay, this is going bad. This team's not consistent. With me, I'm going to blame. I put way more blame on the players. I put way more blame on the players than I do the coaches and the staff, because when they built this team, the narrative was this is a good team. When they played in the regular season, yeah, they weren't as consistent as other teams, but they still seemed like a top 4 team. They still seem like a team.
Expectations, bro.
They didn't live up to expectations now, but that's the players' fault. That's what I'm saying. When it comes to blame, I don't think you can blame Doc Rivers. Like Doc Rivers, his system worked. Everyone believed him to be a championship team. A lot of people thought they were going to win a title. So obviously his system was working. Doc Rivers coached well. It's just his players. You can't coach players underachieving. Like you can't. How do you coach that? How can you sit there as a coach and draw up X's and O's for Lou Will not playing like Lou Will, Harold not playing like Harold, PG played like goddamn playoff P. I don't know. He's always been why he's always been playoff P ever since he left the Pacers. But how do you coach that? Like when it comes to coaching, like my dad used to tell me this. He said when it comes to the NBA, his whole thing was if you lose by more than 10 to 15, that's the fucking players. If you lose by 10, 8 or less, that's coaching. Your players kept you in the game. You just got to drop the X's and O's to win the game. And I was like, man, that's kind of weird. Now I get what the fuck he means. Now I understand it. I'm like, yeah, that makes perfect sense.
He can't make shots for him. Like I'm cool with blaming Lou Will and Montrez because it's with the way, especially with the way the NBA is now. There are nights, the Rockets have experienced this. There are nights where you're just not going to win. You're going to miss 26 threes, and that's what you do, and they're good looks, and you just miss them. And there are other nights where you can't lose, where you're going to make 33s, and you can't lose. Just the way that the volume of three-point shooting is, that's just how it is. And, like, for Lou Will, Montrez specifically, I'm cool with blaming them the most because guys got to make shots. They're out there to score, and if they're not making shots, Doc Rivers can't stand in the corner and make shots for him. You know what I mean? Like,
very true.
I'm cool with that.
True. That's true. Wrap it up like a condom.
All right, let's wrap this up. Let's wrap this up because we got shit to do today.
Mahomes?
Mahomes had us.
Mahomes time?
But yeah, I mean, do y'all have any quick things to say before we wrap it up?
If y'all make me wake up in the AM for one more goddamn pod, I'm not doing AM.
I promise we're the only one. It's the
PMs from now on.
PMs.
Oh man.
PMs had us. It's all
Real quick,
good, man.
Real quick, sporting. Who are your top 5 NBA YouTube content creators?
Yeah, put me on the spot. I'm not going to rank top 5.
He does this
whoever
every time we have a guest. This is his question.
So here's my thing.
Man.
I watch people, right? Like I definitely watch people's videos, but I try honestly not to watch like a ton because I want everything I do to come from me. Because I don't know like if Bezos can attest to this, but there are times where you'll click on something and be like, oh, this is a cool video. And you watch it and you're like, damn, I have those exact same thoughts. And now I feel like I can't express them because I watched somebody else say it. So there's a lot of great people. I think that from like just talking about basketball like you would if you were watching the game perspective, I think Funky is great. I love if I'm just trying to learn something about the game of basketball, I think Funky's great. I think from like obviously he's moving more towards like some current event stuff, but whether it's historic or otherwise, I think obviously B-Souls is great. I'm not going to go through and rank people though, because people get petty. People get petty, you know what I mean? But I pretty much I mess with everybody, but I have tried to not watch a ton because I always want to feel like it's original. And if I say something that someone else said, I want to be pure coincidence. So.
Okay. No, I feel you on that. Because you don't want to be called out for copying and shit. Which 90% of the time we don't. No, 90% of the time we just have our But 90% of the time we just have our own opinions and they just line up.
Right.
But yeah, man. Thanks for coming on for the pod.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah,
for sure.
Appreciate it. Go ahead and plug your shit, man.
So, I mean, we obviously on YouTube, it's Sporting Logically. And then the only other thing I got going on right now is twitch.tv/Spolo, SPOLO_TD, which is just my initials. So Spolo_TD. On Twitch, we're back to Warzone this week. So I did the COD Alpha. And if any of y'all want to play, I can, B-Souls has my number. I can text y'all the Activision username and stuff. We can get some Warzone in.
Oh, bang.
Justin was rubbing his hands.
Warzone's my shit.
Oh, right up.
Yeah. Cool. I'll text it to him and he can get it to y'all.
For sure. All right. Everyone else, y'all want to do your outros? Go ahead and start with Justin.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Stop.
All right, Justin, go ahead.
All right, GG's.
This nigga Dom is stupid.
I'll have some more energy next week, I promise.
Yeah, I will too. I'm sorry. I'm not a morning person.
I got something. I'm on my Charles Barkley guarantee. Y'all hear me?
Yes.
Charles Barkley guarantee. Lakers gonna win the chip.
God
That's my
damn it!
first
Why'd you
prediction.
have to do that to us, man? Don't do that. Don't do that.
Dom, I feel you,
Charles
bro.
Barkley guarantee.
Every time I hear people be like, "Oh, the Celtics definitely gonna win this one," I'm like, "Fuck,
Fuck.
I mean, they are. They are.
stop."
LeBron
Urdu,
James.
I
stop.
can say that. No,
What's the say? It's
LeBron
2-1 right
James.
now. If the Celtics win, it's 2-2, and then now it's an even playing field, and they have the momentum.
I'm just
so
saying.
why
I'm
not?
just saying. Don't.
They have.
Just
Gordon
keep
Hayward
on
came
doubting
back. They
us.
have 4
Just keep on
20-point
doubting
scores
us.
now.
keep on doubting.
Just keep on doubting us because
Or no one wants your support.
operate.
You're bad luck.
We like being the underdogs. That the reason why we played like shit in 2019 was because everyone was like, we're gonna dominate the East and we can beat the fucking Warriors. No, we couldn't. Okay.
I
So
believe
let's-
in y'all, man.
I got you,
I
B-Souls.
don't right now. Just so we can
Miami
win.
in 5.
Just so we can win.
Miami in 5.
Miami in 5.
Okay,
Miami
All
I'm
in
right.
5.
All right, Dom. Go ahead and say goodbye to the people.
All right, peoples. Hope y'all had a very exquisite viewing experience. Go ahead and follow me on Twitter.
That shit was
at-
so funny.
Exquisite.
Go ahead and follow me at Dom Church 1 on Twitter. Follow me at Dom Church on Snapchat. You know, Hot Takes is amazing on Twitter. Another thing, before we leave, I just want to say something. The comment section of the last video, listen, I am definitely more than fucking Hot Takes, okay? I'm more
Dom 1K.
All right.
Dom 1K head ass.
I can admit, listen, I was a little wrong with the Chris Move thing. Okay, I wanted to say that. I told B-Souls this before. I was wrong. Okay, I did some research. Chris Move definitely has dropped more park videos than I gave him credit for. 11 park videos in 6 years. Are we really giving credit to that? But I was wrong. Okay, I didn't think he did any.
We shouldn't
He did
give
11.
credit to it. We shouldn't.
He did 11 in 6 years. Congratulations.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, I was wrong. A man should be able to admit when he's wrong. I was wrong. But look, I'm more than Hot Takes. All right, a lot of y'all was saying I'm not the Hot Takes. Watch him.
I thought I
all
was a
right?
hot take person.
What?
Damn.
We got the man talking about there's magnets in the rim, but I'm the Hot Take guy. Come on, that's crazy. That's
All right,
crazy.
let's go. Let's go. Wordu's World. Wrap it up like a condom.
Hey man, subscribe to my channel, Wordu's World, WORDU World, man. Follow me on
World.
Snapchat, CEO Chief Skeet. Thank you guys so much for the love in the comments. In the comments on the last video. Mad love. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the Let's Keep It a Buck Instagram, and I'm out.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Nigga,
Yes, sir.
Get sponsored by Backwoods. Get sponsored
Big
by
Backwoods, baby. Hey,
Man, be wearing that same
You need to
jacket.
get monetized on
Actually,
YouTube first.
First of all,
No,
Yeah.
I got 3 different ones: white, red, and black. Watch them out. I put the Backwoods right up beside the Laker banner, you know, because I gotta get a new Laker banner. That was kind of outdated because we're about to get another championship. Put it right there.
That's a fact.
Big
That's a
Backwoods,
fact.
baby. Give me my
That's a fact.
sponsorship. Need free roll-ups.
All right, man.
Free roll-ups.
We'll see y'all next week. Thank you again to Tucker for showing up
I
this
gotta
week.
talk to you.
Yes, sir.